Questions or deletions, and we move to the public comments.
Just one moment, please. So first we have, actually I'm going to read a letter that was dropped off first, and then Mr. Greg Kirchner from the library has a 3-minute presentation he'd like to show as his public comment, so we'll go to that after I read. This is from Jess Miller on Zinno Street. I am a gay resident of Hamtramck, and I'm writing to oppose the passage of the Minority and Ethnic Intimidation Ordinance. As the council undoubtedly knows, ethnic intimidation is already illegal in Michigan, and legislation is currently in process to add protections for sexual orientation and gender identity to the existing penal code. Why then does the council seek to create this redundant ordinance? Is it meant to appease me in response to the trend of vandalism of pride flags by local teenagers? It does not achieve that goal. I will support the increased criminalization of minors. I will never support the increased criminalization of minors. I will never support their introduction to the criminal punishment system for petty crimes. This hollow gesture does nothing to increase my material safety or to model tolerance and acceptance within our community. In no way do I accept this ordinance as being passed in my name. I suspect, however, the intent of this bill is more insidious. I am not fooled into thinking this bill is anything other than an attempt to criminalize the raising of the pride flag in protest of the council's misguided neutrality resolution. Equating raising the pride flag with having the intent to intimidate or harass displays a fundamental misunderstanding of the purpose of the pride flag. The pride flag is meant to affirm the humanity of the LGBTQ+ community. Affirmation of my identity does not intimidate any thoughtful individuals. I reject the premise that it ever could. Do not pass this ordinance. Signed, Jess Miller. Greg Kirchner.
Hey, Craig, you want the camera to be on you?
Good one. Thank you. Thank you.
Sit.
Hold on, can I zoom into your face like you do us?
Why don't I just hop up there?
I know, I'm just gonna zoom right into the tip of your nose.
Mayor and Council, I would like to present.
Press the mic button. The mic button.
Yeah.
Is it green? Is
Yeah.
it green? Is it green on the left?
Now it's-
Okay, perfect.
If you can run the.
Absolutely. I hope the speaker show is listed.
Oh, no, there's.
If there's no, okay.
I would like to show some statistics that the Channel 19 has done on the primary elections. Now, the primary elections, we interviewed some of the candidates on Comcast 19, and these interviews were also on the YouTube, on the Hamtramck Public TV, and they are archived on the library website as well. So about 3 weeks prior to the elections, anyone who wanted to get some information on the candidates was able to find that. Now, during the interviews, that we sent out invitations to all 9 candidates. Only 4 candidates participated. One of them was Lacey, then Mr. Naim Chowdhury participated. Also, among the participants was Mr. Nasser Hussein, and the 4th participant was Mr. Salman. Only those 4 individuals participated in the interviews. Now, as we look at the statistics of what happens, all the candidates that were interviewed by Channel 19 won the primaries. That's 100%. Now, as we look further, on the dividing it between the new and the incumbent candidates, there were 6 new candidates for the city council. The 3 that were interviewed on TV 19, they passed all of those 3. The 3 that ignored the interview on Channel 19, they all lost. Now, on the incumbent side, there were 3 candidates on the ballot. The only incumbent candidate that participated was Mr. Naim, and he came in first, the top vote getter. So the statistics show us basically that there is a positive correlation. Channel 19 does not endorse any candidates, The only thing that we do is we provide information for the public. So there was no politics involved in any of those interviews. The questions were the same to all. We do not claim that the exposure helped anyone in the primaries. However, when you look at the statistics, when you look at the facts, there is a 100% positive correlation between working with Channel 19 and not. Those who came in won, those who did not come in basically lost. So just some statistics. I'm working with the city clerk to provide some statistics from the past election. So next time I might be able to give you some correlations on who's going to win in the general election for the council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Ms. Lynn Blasey. 3 minutes.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I do want to say congratulations to all the youth who were presented to us today and were given certificates. I want to thank them for a summer well spent. I had a pleasure of working with many of them out in the field on different projects, and it's really encouraging to see young people come out and spend their summer giving back to the community. I hope that encourages more students to do so in the future. Regarding Resolution 2023-123A, I'm curious who's working on this so we can direct residents who to provide feedback and input to. Resolution 2023-125, I support the Economic Development Strategic Plan process, and I really hope that Council engages with that process to make sure that after the strategic plan is in place, that the resolutions put forth, the choices and votes of Council align with that plan, because it's really important for the city to work together as a comprehensive unit. Regarding Resolution 2023-127, it's really important as elected officials that we are here to serve the public. By restricting public voice, disallowing people who want to provide feedback, that's really in contrast to what our elected officials have signed up to do. We have continually seen restrictions on the amount of time that the public is allowed to speak, and this resolution further restricts that, and I don't think it's appropriate, and I don't think it's reflective of what our government intends to do. Resolution 2023-132, I really think that this SAFE will be a very useful tool and a wise investment for our city. It counts money, it prints receipts, and it'll really improve efficiency in our Treasury's office. And I'm really curious, with the amount of time between this meeting and the last meeting, why there were so many last-minute changes to the agenda. It seems really, just doesn't seem very forthcoming to the public that they didn't get a chance to review these contracts and new agenda items. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Josh Hamtramck. 3 minutes, sir.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm here on behalf of the Hamtramck Queer Alliance. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to speak at public comment, so that way I can share our thoughts and our concerns as members of your community and residents of this city. First, I'd like to talk about the resolution to limit public comment. I do not believe that this serves the best interests of the public, which is the duties of elected officials. I think that it is your job in order to hear what the people have to say, and sometimes that takes a long time. I understand sometimes these meetings run late. I don't want to be here late either, but I'm still here. I brought a coffee. The second topic I'd like to talk to you about today is in regards to the minority or ethnic intimidation ordinance. First of all, I'd like to recognize the efforts of the council. I know that I've been coming up here for weeks and weeks talking about the vandalism and otherwise hate that has been going around in our community and really making queer residents feel unsafe. I do not believe that this resolution adequately addresses the actual needs of this community. I think that even since people have been prosecuted for vandalism already, there still continues to be vandalism in the city, and I don't think adding more punishments and crimes necessarily reduces the amount of crime as much as we want it to. And so I think that we need to start bringing community together and start showing people through modeling that we're one Hamtramck together, and that everybody here is deserving of respect. And so we're going to be at the Labor Day parade. We're going to be marching. We're going to have a booth. And so I hope to see you guys there, and I hope to have you guys say hi and start reaching out that hand to bring this community back together and start modeling for your constituents how to treat their neighbors. And last but not least, still in regards to this ordinance, I have concern about the portion in the middle that tries to equate rising a flag on city property without permission to a hate crime for lay people. Ethnic intimidation is Michigan's hate crime law, so it's the same thing, a hate crime. And so it seems absurd to me that disobeying city council is the same type of punishment or the same type of category in the same ordinance as hate crimes. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Mr. Bill Meyer?
Well, Bill Meyer from One Hamtramck, the group that's One Hamtramck, that means everybody working together, which the gentleman just said, yes. That's what we have to do is cross borders. It goes both ways. This side has to come that way, that side has to go that way, not just come to us. I want to commend our city clerk for pronouncing the names correctly during the awards, because that might sound like a little thing, but you know, when you pronounce a person's name correctly, or you want to try, even if you mess it up, but you're humble enough to say, I'm going to try to say your name right. That's a way to warm up the people, to bring people together. It's very important to want to know another person's name, not only how to say it and pronounce it, but their lives, how they live, what they, same problems they go through and find commonality. That's all part of it. And I feel very good in this room with the attitude that's here. And that was very heartwarming, those presentations today. Thank you. I want to remind candidates who lost the campaign to remove their signs. I still see some up here. You're supposed to remove them after, what, 10 days? Yeah. As far as the ethnic intimidation thing, I don't know if people are aware that the targets of most hate crimes in America, by far, violence and hate crimes, by far, are against Muslims. This ordinance is not out of place at all. There's targets of discrimination. Let's talk about the realities. It's also interesting that you selected Ukrainian holiday, because there's a lot of ethnic groups here, and I don't know why we've singled that one out. Hopefully we'll have proclamations for all the other ethnic groups that live in the city. About the time limits, I see that you're still trying to refine the way we're going to run our council meetings. It's a hard thing. We've always been changing it, still trying to fine tune it. And obviously the public feels that we should not be limited in time. And I think it's one of the more important parts of the meeting to hear from the public, because that's why you're all there. We put you there. So, and you're all working for all the people of the city. So keep that in mind, that somehow we can't diss the public, whether you like what we say or not. You have to find a way to listen. And I know sometimes it gets too long. So maybe one suggestion I could offer, maybe there's other solutions to this, but one would be for council members and mayor to make your office time available to the public. Have an office, set up a time, like Mondays from 1 to 4 or something like that. And then anyone who wants to talk to your council person can at least have access, more access. Because I've learned through the years that coming to these council meetings and talking about specific issues isn't as good as going to the department that actually handles those issues and getting your question resolved. We don't have to come here and talk about water problems. We can go to the water department. We can go, stuff like that. So we could save time by just talking about things
Speaking
that
of time.
come together.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Bill. Mr. Faisal Mohammed? Did he leave? All right, no longer here. Mr. Conrad?
I'm here on behalf of Hamtramck Park Conservancy, just saying thank you. So this was the first step in what we had to unify both parks, Playfair Park and Veterans Park. The new playscape is, if any of you have gone out there and seen it in the evening or during the day, is one of the more highly used parts of the park right now. There's, I think on average, anywhere from 70 to 100 people there every night that are using the new playscape. Plenty of kids, plenty of everything. They all enjoy it. They love the zip line. So this is the first major project we had. There's some more in the pipelines, and the next time I will be presenting on behalf of Park Conservancy will be to introduce our new executive director. So we just agreed with an employment agreement, so at one of these meetings we'll be introducing that person to the council there. Thank you.
Thank you, Conrad. Mr. Mayor, that's all for public comment.
Thank you. All right, we move to the consent agenda, and we have, this is approved with a single motion with no discussion. Approval of minutes from the July 25, 2023 regular city council meeting. B, approval of invoice register date in the August 22, 2023. C, approval of pre-approved expenditure date in the August 22, 2023. D, resolution 2023-121 authorizing designated signatory for municipal employees retirement system of Michigan, MERS contract. D, resolution 2023-122 recognizing the Friends of Hamtramck as a non-profit organization.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we move now to the public hearings. And we have the first on resolution 2023-102B approving public hearing and second reading of amendment to Hamtramck dangerous or abandoned building ordinance, title 11, chapter 92, section 90.001-92.
Motion? Second.
So that was to open the hearing.
Yes.
757.
This one over. 757?
Yep.
Thank you. Lynn Blasey, you don't, Bill Mayor, do you have comments on this one? You check.
No, I'm sorry.
No? No? Mr. Mayor, no public comments. We need a motion to end public hearing.
Motion? Second.
All right.
757.
I can jump in on this one. I did the ordinance. I was just cleaning up one of the older ordinances on dangerous buildings. I know Max said there's a few buildings that are severe disrepair. And basically what I was doing was updating our system of dealing with that. And it's not much different from the past, but it's cleaned up and it's a better streamlined process now. And it actually fits with the law as it is currently. We've always needed to have a board, construction board, and so what I did was there's two different boards. I consolidated them into one, so we don't have to pay two different boards and hire two different boards, and that makes it easier. Max has explained to me that it's a little hard to staff to find people that want to serve on these boards, but we do need to have a housing board. They don't really have to meet all that often, but when they do have to meet is when we have a situation where there's a dangerous building and we need to take it to them and say, hey, you know, basically the process right now is you have to ticket someone and tell them, you know, fix your building. If they don't fix it after a long period of time, and you can look through the ordinance, and after many warnings and going through the process, then we have to go through the process of asking the board to allow us to do a demolition order, where they have to demolish it because it's so dangerous, or fix it. And at that point, I mean, you know, that's what it is. It's so dangerous to the community that either we demolish it or fix it, and then even then they have their rights and they can go through their process. But it streamlines the process and makes it easier for us to try to get people to fix these properties that are causing a problem for the health and safety of the population.
And I should add that this isn't just like your average house. I mean, we have houses that no one has any affiliation with them anywhere. Owners have died, no family has stepped up, nobody wants it. They're literally just sitting there. So we have some that we can't even ticket anyone, we can't even force anyone. So this would allow us to step in and do something with them in the meantime, so that we don't have essentially just a blighted, dangerous house sitting there for years on end.
I've had to deal with this type of thing in other cities in the past for many years. And I'll give you some examples of properties that got into that position. So there was a property I represented, a tree had grown from a seed all the way through the roof and broke through the roof and caused the roof, and there was a lot of water and stuff getting in from it. But a tree had literally grown through the roof. So we're talking about buildings that are severely gone.
This is going to be a little tricky to staff this board, because if I'm not mistaken, it has some specific requirements.
Yes, the state of Michigan requires us to staff this board by specifically, and basically it requires an engineer and some members of the community. So we're going to have to find people that fit, and the council can decide how much to pay them, some sort of stipend. But other cities find people, and I think we can too.
Can I please get a motion before there's an internal discussion with the council?
I motion.
Thank you. I need a second?
Second.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion?
Any discussion? No?
This cannot be done by housing authority?
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do, exactly. That's what we're creating. And it's already been created, but there was no staffing of the housing board.
We haven't done anything with it.
There's supposed to be a housing board, and there's supposed to be a construction appeals board. So basically, I'm making them both the same board, because we're already supposed to have them. So this way we can save money, make them the same board, and they just have not, no one has staffed them for, I don't know how many years. I can't really go back that far, but for many years. So, but you're right, that's exactly what this is.
Ready to vote?
No.
Okay. Councilman Rafai?
Yes.
Councilman Musa?
Yes.
Councilman Hassan?
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor? You have to vote on this
Yeah,
as well.
ordinance.
Yes, thank you. Resolution 2023-102B approved.
If mayor wants to abstain, and unless there's a tie, he can put a standing order to abstain. You don't even have to ask him. If you want to do that, I think that's just fine.
He has to say.
Yeah, you'd have to say that, though.
Yeah, that's fine, I'll say yes.
Okay.
The next one is Resolution 2023-103B, approving public hearing and second reading of amendment to Hamtramck parking regulations ordinance, Title 10, Chapter 72, Section 72.005-72.999.
Motion. Second.
All right.
802.
822.
Glenn Blasey?
Hello, Mayor and Council. I'm here today to speak in favor of this ordinance change. Over the years, we've had a lot of residents who pay for having special parking in front of their house based off their needs, and other people have been able to park there without much consequences. I think this new ordinance clarifies that process. It'll make it clear to the public with a separate sign saying this is reserved parking, and I think this is a really good gesture and service to our disabled residents, letting them know that we do care about them and that they should have full access to their homes here in Hamtramck. So I just want to say that I do support this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Bill Meyer, did you want to speak on this?
Yeah. Yes, I mean, okay. So parking's always been a problem in the city. How to solve a city when you have 28,000 people and only 2,000 parking spots? Well, one would be to build a parking garage. Anybody thought of that? No, okay. Like the city, the one right over here behind Al Samiri's building. That could be a parking garage, 4 stories high. Bring more people here to the city. Don't put those parking meters in there. And hundreds of people can park in downtown Hamtramck. That'd be a good idea. Of course, we don't have any money to do that, so we'll scratch that up. Other cities have plans to put parking on one side of the street on certain sides at times of the week and other side of the street on other times of the week. Have you looked into other cities on how to deal with this disability parking and all that? Handicap parking doesn't mean disability. I mean, there's people that are old, that can't walk, that have to have a handicap thing. I mean, handicap in many different ways, you can be handicapped. So, are we gonna define exactly what this means? Someone who has a handicap card is gonna, what am I talking to you for? Does this mean they're gonna have to have a sticker that says, you know, you're handicapped, and you can put it in your window? Or would it be, is it one person gets one spot to say, you're the guy you're talking to, you look at it, right?
Sticker per car.
A sticker per car, okay. And I'm sure you've all thought this through. So, I just think special parking, once you get to that, is going to narrow down the parking already, because we have this fantastic parking meter situation on Joseph Campo that goes down the side streets, and every side street has meters on it, so they took off all those spots. And now you're going to give people handicap spots, and I'm sure people are going to jump on that one, so they make sure they have a parking meter. Oh yeah, that's right, I could talk for like 20 minutes. I got
As long as it's
time
about
limit.
parking.
No, I'm not. So I hope it's going to work. That's all I want to say. I think you
Thanks, Bill.
probably thought through everything, but
Thanks, Bill.
Actually, I don't think they have to talk about parking. You can talk about whatever you want.
Public hearing?
Yeah, I believe so.
It has to be on topic, though.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. Oh, great, now he's gonna talk about carpets and windows and...
what was I talking about?
That's it. You said you were done.
Yeah, but it was about parking, right?
Yeah.
Did I talk about something else?
No, you did perfectly fine. Okay, public comments over. I need a motion to end, please.
8:06.
I'll make sure.
Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. And then a motion to discuss amongst yourselves? Or somebody?
Motion to
I need
vote.
a motion to approve. Motion, second?
Second.
Thank you.
Anyone wants to discuss this?
Vote.
Motion to adopt.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Councilman Al-Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Musa.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-103 be approved.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to suspend the law. I have to go restroom for a few minutes because of Quran issue. So,
You want to take a 5-minute break?
yeah, that's why I said.
That's fine.
Okay.
We have to vote, right?
Sure.
Yeah, 5 minutes.